Leslie Meredith from Breakbulk Events and Media. I am here at Breakbulk Middle East in Dubai, and we have just finished a technology session, digitization, etc. And I've got our good friend Adolph Colaco, who is the CEO and founder of E2Log. So welcome.
Thank you, Leslie. Always nice to be here.
It's so great to see you. So give us a synopsis of the panel.
So the discussion was around building the business case for deployment of logistics technology in industrial projects. It was very well represented because firstly it was moderated by Dharmendra from Larsen & Toubro, who is a shipper and is going through a complete digital transformation themselves. And then we had a good blend of folks who are from the freight forwarding industry like us. And then we also had Vipul Panchal from Ernst & Young. And they're involved with change management, and of course myself. So very good discussion.
That's interesting because Dharmendra and your colleague hosted a similar session at Breakbulk Americas. And it seems like there's a real need, and it was very interesting to talk about how internally do you build that business case so that you can bring some innovation, new technologies into the company. How do you, when you look at different companies, particularly in our industry, do you see them at different stages of technology adoption, or
Short answer is yes. And the thing that companies need help with is actually identifying where they are in that maturity journey relative to digitalization. And a lot of it, Leslie, has got to do with how does the leadership at the highest level think about technology. And it's really, a digital transformation is a cultural transformation. This is a very well-established thing. So it's not like, you can go and buy some software and you plug it in on the side and it's going to work magically. There's a huge transformation that the organization needs to go to. And to be able to even get to that stage, logistics leaders, supply chain leaders need to be able to build the case internally, right? Why should the CEO or the CFO agree to invest money in logistics technology, right? So you have to build that business case. You have to make sure that you get their attention. How do you go about doing that? What are the things you need to consider? Who are the constituents or the stakeholders that you need to get involved? How do you define your ROI? How do you go beyond just, I'm going to save you cost? That's not sufficient, right? There's so much more to it. So I think that's the kind of thing that we're trying to bring forward to the audience through discussions and forums like this.
When we say digitalization, what does that really mean? What different departments does it impact? What systems does it impact? What might it look like if someone has done very little to embark on that journey?
Sure. So I think one of the most simplest things about what digitalization does is that it takes fragmented processes, manual processes, things which are typically managed via email, spreadsheets, phone calls, paper trails as an example, and puts it together into a technology platform. That's the first thing. And this is a humongous amount of work which is done today by logisticians. And the reality is, in the absence of technology, logisticians have had to labor through this, right? Because what do? I have no tool, so I need to send an email, and I got to print this document out, and I need to sign this document, I need to scan it, I need to send it back to somebody. That's how the business is done. So that is the first thing that digitalization does. But the other aspect of digitalization, Leslie, is the touch points, right? Logistics or supply chain does not exist in isolation. There are some strong interdependencies within an organization. So it directly is impacted by what's happening on the bidding side for projects. It has a direct impact on the procurement side of the business. What's happening with the expediting? What's happening with the supplier management? What's happening with the payment of invoices? What's happening with the approval of invoices? What's happening with the scheduling of projects? What's happening with the risk management? There's so many touch points there. So what digitalization does, it actually brings everything onto a single platform and then enables that easy interface with these various other facets of the business. So it's a very broad impact function, and digitalization is actually helping companies overcome that.
It seems for some it could be absolutely transformational, almost would feel like a different company. But I think one of the biggest benefits is that it would free up time for so many employees who are just sort of bogged down by these routine paper-based or whatever tasks. And this could really be great. But I want to also ask you about, where are we going? What's next? You know, we see Microsoft bringing ChatGPT, for instance, into its search engine, and Google should follow suit very shortly. Will we start to see things like that that would support, you know, and sort of streamline some of those more mundane tasks?
So short answer is yes, Leslie. And like I said in this forum earlier, oftentimes we who are in the industrial project space tend to say that we are different or unique and those technologies cannot be brought in. The answer is it will be brought in, right? And what is going to happen is there's going to be more autonomous logistics happening, because the reality of it is that a lot of the tasks that a logistician does today are very tactical in nature. And because of the fact that there's a lack of technology, it has a heavy degree of friction in the process. So there's a lot of time and effort put into just executing those tasks. So as technology gets better in this space, what is going to happen is that friction is going to reduce. This is going to become more and more autonomous than it's presently been. And you'll have that there is a certain degree of repetitiveness in the process, not necessarily in the cargo. Obviously in project logistics, almost every package is unique. We get that. But there is a repetitive nature in the process, and technology is going to streamline that. And part of what we are saying is that the industry is just beginning to bring in technology. It's going to take a long time, right? And there will be areas of specialization that will come about. And there will be some niche players in the industrial space, but we have to be very open as a business to embrace technologies of different types. So if there is a new technology that's come in, developed by somebody, and is not even remotely associated with industrial projects, yes, maybe it's not directly impacted, but it can help a certain subset of activity, and you put all those technologies together over time, and that's when it's going to become very powerful and impactful.
I love that. It's a bright future there, and exciting, and I think we'll see a lot of change. So I want to thank you for sharing your philosophy, your information. It's always so informative.